Hey, welcome to ThinqTanq, where our diverse leaders handle your diverse challenges. Today, we're going to look at what to do when you're a proud sissy navigating a masculinist or machista organizational culture. I'm your host, Ray P. Ferrer, CEO, Chief Executrix at Ray Coach, and I'm delighted to welcome today's lovely ThinqTanqers. ThinqTanqers, who are you and where are you calling in from?
Hello, my name is Miguel Yanez. I am a transformational coach and I'm calling from Winchester, California.
Hi, I'm Robin Ingram, Assistant Vice President at the Fund for Johns Hopkins Medicine, calling in from Baltimore, Maryland.
I'm Kelly Macias. I'm an equity and inclusion consultant, and I'm calling in from Washington, D.C.
Welcome all of you. Now we need your brains on this one. Here is today's challenge. Dear ThinqTanq, I am a VP at a large company with a global reach. It took me many years to get promoted to this position, as our organizational culture is one that rewards traditional military macho-style leadership. Now, I am a bit of a sissy. I don't talk sports, I'm clearly not straight, and make no bones about being a gay man. I have received 360 and annual performance evaluations filled with veiled negative comments about my perceived lack of authoritative or leadership presence. I am one of two men of color at my level of leadership. Over the last year or so, I'm noticing something odd. The two women on our leadership team, both white, respond to everything I say with a sort of weird, condescending coochie-coo face, as if I were a cute puppy rather than the head of a major division. My suggestions and comments are often dismissed by these same people, even though they themselves know what it is like to be undermined by the white fellows who dominate these meetings. I am starting to wonder whether I am not cut out for this level of leadership, even though I have been rather successful from all objective measures. How do I respond to this level of subtle undermining, or am I getting paranoid? Signed, not a cute puppy. All right, ThinqTanqers. Oh, I have so many feelings reading this one. I'm curious to know, what are your thoughts?
I was first thinking that it's hard to be in a situation where you begin to question your leadership style and if you should be in a place after you've worked very hard and you have the metrics and the proven success to demonstrate that you deserve to be there. And so I recognize that that's a difficult place. And then I was also thinking, as a first step, is there someone that you can talk to see if they have also observed what you are observing and absorbing when it comes to these two colleagues?
Thank you. So something about the two colleagues, but also something about that imposter syndrome thing that can be triggered by this, right? Am I made for this? Is this for me, right? Kelly, I see you starting to say something.
Yeah, I was thinking a little bit about this like coochie-coo, crinkly face thing and wondering, first, have I done that? I hope I've never done that before, but I probably have. Yeah, this idea of like babyfying folks, particularly who may not exhibit traditionally masculine sort of macho leadership, is something that I'm really glad we're talking about. Because I have questions about it just in terms of what does leadership look like, right? And so often as people of color, we go into organizations and think that who we are is not enough, right? Or is not right, or we get told that who we are is not okay. And so we're constantly pushing back against these like perceptions about what leadership looks like. So I'm just sitting with this notion of what does leadership look like and how can this person actually how can there be space created for this person to lead authentically as who they are?
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And you know that's what we're in the business of doing, both at Ray Coach at my firm, but also here at ThinqTanq. This is the whole point of our work together, right, is to create new spaces where leaders of color can be leaders in our own natural ways, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So it's not you, it's them.
Right? Miguel, what's coming up for you as you listen to this?
I feel like that is a very I wouldn't say serious situation, but it is a situation. So one of the things that we usually forget when we are in the situation is that we are in a leadership position, that we are there for a reason, and that we were put there for a reason. Remember your seniority, and once you remember your seniority, I'm a king of talking to people, seeing what the problem is, make sure that I am in a place of service and collaboration when I talk to them. But in summary, remember your seniority, remember why you were there, remember that you were put in that position because you are capable, you can do this. And then once you are completely in sync with that, talk to them. Talk to them and see what the problem is. How can you resolve this problem for a place of collaboration? Because like we said before, we're all trying to reach the same goal. We're trying to go to the same place.
It makes me wonder about the many times I've experienced what Kelly and I have referred to as crinkle face, right? And that's this. Like, it's this. You'll say something that, well, as a fellow sissy or as a sister sissy, I don't know how we should say that, like to our writer today. There's something really powerful about letting people know that what they're doing in trying to connect or be supportive is actually not supportive and connecting,
Yes.
right? So there's something about like, I see you, you're great girl, you go girl, that kind of thing is not helpful because I'm leading a department, like, or a division like this. There's something about like being able to talk directly. What gets in the way? When you've had this or a similar situation, what has gotten in the way of having those conversations?
In my situation will be anxiety, fear of confronting the inevitable. And then once I remember, like I was saying before, that I have seniority, I'm in this position for a reason, so I can do this. And then, ultimately, we're all free to show ourselves how we are. So there shouldn't be a problem with that. So just talk to those two colleagues and let them know that it's not okay. That is not okay. But in the past, it was my anxiety, my fear to confront the situation, and I had to get over that in order to talk to these people. Because when you talk to them, you have to be 100% confident. And you gain that confidence by remembering, hey, I can do this, I got this.
I agree. Like even myself and other people, there's that level of uncomfortableness in just having conversations like that.
Yes.
And what I have had to remind myself is that most everyone feels uncomfortable when they have to address a conversation like this. But there's a sense of peace, or I've had a sense of relief after having the conversation. And it's boiled down to, like I said to someone, I noticed that your reactions towards me and my work are very different from reactions of others. And I had examples. And I think examples also are very helpful as well in sharing with the individual.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting, Robin, when we give feedback, I'm a big fan of having a format for the way you give feedback. Whatever your format is, have a format. So like what you did, what the effect of it was, and what you could do differently, and what the effect might be next time. That's my format. So just being thorough with the feedback and just letting them see what happens. Mm-hmm. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, for me, I was also just thinking about what feedback I want to accept and think is legitimate and what feedback isn't, right? And so I like to think of feedback as a gift. And if you think of feedback as a gift, some gifts are awesome and they're exactly what you want and what you need, and some gifts not so much. So I think when I think about this particular scenario and think about the leadership feedback, right? Because it seems like it's very much grounded in a sort of masculinist, like very traditional ways of leading. And we know that those aren't the only way to lead, and very often not even the most effective way to lead. I also think about like what feedback feels like something you actually want to take in and think about and know that actually it could benefit you to do something about, and what feedback is just there to say, thank you so much for your feedback, and not do anything with it because you do have a choice.
Thank you. And I hear you reacting to that 360 and performance evaluation stuff that they're referring to. Yeah.
I'm listening very careful to Kelly, and I completely agree. But then I thought, while we do this, when we talk to them and we tell them what is going on, and we tell them, that it's not okay, we're also growing ourselves. We're also growing ourselves as leaders and as supervisors. So it's very important to have the feedback. Completely agree with Kelly, but also remember that as we do that, we grow inside as leaders and supervisors and managers.
I'm also reacting here to the change, the potential for changing and transforming what is seen as leadership in the organization. Like, we don't have to be military, top-down, straight white guy type leaders. And in fact, as Kelly said, that doesn't actually work all that often. It works in a certain way for certain situations, but it's not the only way to lead, and it's not the most effective way to lead everybody, especially as workplaces become more diverse.
Agreed.
So I have a provocative, maybe it's not provocative, question for you all, and it's, yes, there is this opportunity to change leadership and the culture in the organization, but what would you tell someone, like at what point do you maybe need to consider that this organization, while you've been very successful here, may not be where you want to be in the future, and at what point do you think about taking your leadership skills and applying them somewhere where you don't have that battle? Not to say give up, but also thinking about other opportunities. How do you talk to people about that, or how do you guide them in that?
Well, I'll tell you my own personal story. My personal example is I didn't stay in the organizations that didn't grow me correctly, and I formed my own firm twice, right? I formed my first firm because there wasn't room for me as a young gay Latino leader, and then I formed this firm because there wasn't room for me as a middle-aged gay Latino leader. So I was like, okay, bye. There's something about knowing what's most important for now, right? Like what is the energy you have now, and would the organization's impact be greater if you transformed it? And if so, is that your calling? If the answer is yes, then yeah, stay. But if not, what are you all thinking?
I completely agree. I think that you need to figure out if you can change the organization, absolutely do it. But in my case, when I had to leave the organization I was working for because of a similar issue, I just knew that it was time to go. No hard feelings, no, I just knew that there was something better for me in another organization, and it has worked great. But I think there is a time when it is time to go, and you should do it for yourself.
Yeah, I would say one of the most powerful things about being at the point in my career I am now is that I know my worth, and I know when I'm not being appreciated, and sometimes it means it's time for me to go. But also I've been in places where I've had very trusted colleagues ask me what I want to get out of that experience. And that has often been the determining factor for me around when I stay, where I stay, how long I stay for. Is there something that I would like to get out of that? Is there an experience, a skill, something else that would be valuable for me that I can take elsewhere?
Thank you all for your thoughts, and thank you, ThinqTanqer, for sending in your idea and your dilemma. This one's difficult. We talked a little bit about using the opportunity to accept feedback, but also give feedback about the different things you're experiencing. Remember, when you give and accept feedback, you have choice, and you have a certain place and power. You have seniority, as Miguel referred to it. We know that you got this. We know that you have the ability to move through this with your dignity intact. And there may be, even though discomfort may be an issue, peace and relief can often come after uncomfortable conversations. You have an opportunity to change leadership in an organization that doesn't have a culture that creates space for you, but you also have the opportunity to leave an organization and go to a place that is better set up for you, or you can set up a place that's better for you. That's also an option that we have in our careers. So thank you, ThinqTanqers. Thank you, viewers. And if you have an issue that you'd like the ThinqTanqers to have at, send it to ThinqTanq@raycoach.com. That's ThinqTanq with Q's. And we'll see you soon. Cuídense and go with love.